We are live. Yes, we are recapping UTSA versus East Carolina. I don't know if East Carolina fans would need to be here, but fun times, people. Fun times. So UTSA defeats. What's the score end up being? Let me make sure I get that correct here before I jump into the game. What's the actual score? So yeah, UTSA defeats East Carolina, who came into this game 7-3, 58-24. Second half got a little bit out of hand. UTSA got a little sloppy. They start putting in backups, the whole bit. But that game was over in the first half. It was over in the first half. UTSA took a 31-3 lead in the first half, completely dominated ECU. And we are here. Folks, I'm going to tell you something right now. It's hard for me to put into words what happens when UTSA plays at the Alamodome. I'll start there, just off the muscle. And cheers to everyone. Definitely having a celebratory drink from this game. I mean, listen, I know there's some folks out there who want UTSA to lose in order for some of the coaching changes to take place. I understand why people feel that way, but I'll never feel that way. I think winning, regardless of what the circumstances are, is always the best way. You just have to hope that the head coach and the decision makers make the decision. Anyway, that's aside the point right now. I think the biggest thing here is UTSA at home is just something about the Alamodome and the Black Unis. I don't know what to make of it. So many people reached out to me before the game, during the game, and said, hey, what do you think about UTSA at home? What are you seeing on film, that you're not saying on your show? Just these types of things are questions that I'm getting coming into the game, before the game, and like I said, during the game. During the game, I got a lot of direct messages from some of you guys who are in this chat, and just other folks that I talked to around UTSA, asking me, how do you explain this, considering some of the previous performances that UTSA has had? Guys, I don't have a great answer for that. I don't know. Here's what I will say. For those of us who thought that UTSA could have challenged for an American Conference title, these home games where we see them take down the likes of Tulane, who's a contender, who's still in position to win a conference title, we've seen us do what we just did to East Carolina, who's also in a runner for a conference title. When you see the way we performed in those games and how our offense and our defense played, it is kind of validation to that thought of why we had high expectations coming into the season, because we have these kind of victories. But it's something about, yes, it's fun about the voodoo and the superstitions that happens in the Alamodome and the Black Unis. But it's like, when you take all that away, there's sort of a situation where we have something really great that Jess Traylor has at home, and how he can galvanize his team and galvanize the troops to be able to go out and execute against the plan that they have set forth for their players. There's something to why they perform so well at home. But it's also something to why we drop off a cliff away. That has to be solved next season. There's no reason to talk about it anymore. We won't play another away game this year. We got Army, and then we're going to have a bowl game, which, by the way, we should celebrate that. I know the season is not what we think it should have been, and for the expectations that we came into the season with, this is an underachievement. However, they have accomplished something. UTSA, with their 6th win today, is eligible for bowl, or they are bowl eligible, and that is 5-6 years straight. That is amazing. That's huge. That's a big deal. It is something in college football that is losing value. However, it is still something that the team will celebrate, the coach will celebrate, and it gives them, everybody can't be conference champions. So what's next? And bowl eligibility is next, and the bowl victory is next. So for that, that's a milestone, not the milestone we wanted, but it's a milestone that the guys should be celebrated for. So I will give a couple claps for the coaches, the coaching staff, the players, and all of that. So you just got to tip your cap to those guys. We're going bowling. We're going bowling. They're going to get money from that. The players are going to get nice gifts. It's just going to be a fun thing. You're going to get some notoriety. And the main thing I like from that is it's a recruiting nugget that UTSA can use. They need all the recruiting nuggets they can get right now. We have to recognize that based on some of the standards that were set early in the year, UTSA is underachieved, but they have achieved something. But I think it's very clear on what needs to improve going forward so that they can take another step. Because I mean, if you look at last season, this was the win total from last season. We have an Army game next week at the Alamodome. And listen, at this point, we ain't losing in the dome, bro. So you got my prediction for next week. I'm going to break down the game and all of that, but I'm not picking us to lose in the dome. I didn't think we would win tonight. I want to be very clear about it. I didn't think we'd win tonight, and we did. So, yeah, it's something that needs to be solved. But I mean, listen, you got to give credit to both sides, both units. The offense played phenomenally well. The defense played phenomenally well. I'm just gonna go through some stats. I mean, Owen McCown had another great game. He's really good at home. I mean, the game plan seems to be a little bit more simplified. He's just able to execute, and his offensive line gave him plenty of time to do things. Yeah, he missed some throws. Don't get me wrong. There was probably a couple that should have been picked off, but they weren't. He was 24 for 33, 248 yards, 5 touchdowns. He deserves a boatload of credit for that. We are very difficult and hard on him whenever he plays bad. We need to recognize him when he plays well. Hats off to Owen McCown for his performance tonight. He deserves to have a good time and celebrate and enjoy this win. Rushing attack, Will Henderson. Listen, y'all know how I feel about this kid. This kid is, I'm sure his father will be in the chat today. This kid is a talent, y'all. We got us one. We got us one. If we can keep him here, we got us one. We got us one. He one of them dudes, 19 carries, 146 yards. He didn't hit the end zone, but who cares? We got us one. David Amador, I was happy to see him get going. 5 catches, 75 yards in the tug. DJ Allen, TCU transfer. Really good to see him get in the end zone. Houston Thomas, AJ Wilson continuing to show how good he is. You like to see him get more. What's funny is there are some folks out there who, and I know that because they shot me DMs or text messages and all of that, but they think the receivers are able to shine a little bit more when McEwen's out, and that's an interesting take, but they shined. Our receiving corps shined. A lot of people touched the ball. Patrick Overmeyer played well also at that tight end position. We were just executing on all everywhere. I mean, you can't really knock UTSA for anything. I mean, Kendrick Blackshire, he had a really good game today. I thought Shad Banks was excellent. He was all over the field. I think he was involved in 10 tackles or so, like by far the most on the team. I think he was involved. He had a pick 6. I mean, that kid was good. Jimmy Warwick was also good. You gotta give him some credit. I mean, there was a lot of guys that were really good. KK Meyer, I'm glad he's back. He came in and made some really, really good tackles, some really good plays at that cornerback position. We were just great tonight. It's just like the weird thing is we just have these moments where UTSA is just great. And it's frustrating because it makes you go back to the schedule and say, where was this late in the game against Texas State? A team who has, not been great since the UTSA since the UTSA victory they had. I mean, they're winning tonight for sure, but and they're going to improve the 5 and 6. But they got to win their next game. I think to well, yeah, not I think they got to win the game after this to go bowling. But when you look at that game and you look at some of these other games, like I look at obviously the Texas State game is one. Temple kills me because we had that game in control. We just, I mean, I don't know. We just gave it away, in my opinion. Yeah, we got blew out against North Texas. We deserved that one. Same with South Florida. We deserved that one too. But there's some of these games, like the Temple game and the Texas State game, really grinds my gears. Because if we do what we're supposed to do in those games, and the Texas State one was at the Dome, but if you do what you're supposed to do in those games, this season looks a lot different, y'all. This season looks a lot different. That will put us, we'd be 8-3 at this particular point in time. It looks a lot. That look a lot different than the 6-5 that we are right now. So, I mean, here's another thing that I think is pretty cool. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. There's a possibility that UTSA ends the season 8-5, and as pissed off as we've been about what the season has transpired, that's a positive season to look at. Now, I hope that doesn't buy the offensive coordinator another year. I'm still not convinced on him, but yeah, the narrative around UTSA is going to be very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, let me get into your comments and questions. No Hawk 33 says Black Unis for life. Reminds me of Odessa Permian. Mojo. We need to adopt the ASAP. That's interesting. I don't know if you've heard of John Tyler, but I'm from John Tyler. We don't do Mojo, we do Cujo. But yeah, Cujo. Yes, I'm with it. He says, call me crazy, sipping the scissor, but maybe we can give this coaching staff one more go around next year. Feels like a season of what ifs if we went out. Nope. I am okay with Coach Traylor. And I'm okay. I'm okay with the DC. I think the DC's issue is personnel more than him as just a coordinator. I think I'm okay with the DC. The OC, no, absolutely not. Nah, I'm not gonna get that far ahead of myself. Bring Ohio State to the Dome. Okay. Bowling. Shout out to I knew he'd be here. Shout out to Will. Yeah, your son's one of them ones, sir. Let's see. Marcus says, I've been a big proponent of an on-campus stadium, but damn, if there isn't some magical aura that surrounds the Alamodome, still want a new OC though. So I agree with the second point. Still want a new OC? Absolutely. Yeah. I'm yes, we definitely want a new OC. However, yeah, the discussion, I think I tweeted this. The discussion around the on-campus stadium versus the Alamodome, it's over, bro. It's over. There's no reason to talk about that. Alamodome clearly like I'm not the one that believe in superstitions and like voodoo or whatever, and I know some of it's a halfway joke, but yeah, what do you do about this? There's just something that happens where UTSA shows up at the Dome. I don't think you up in that. Keep the Dome, get ready for next year, hit the gas for a conference title. Yeah, well, next year is going to require some investment, some money, and player turnover in a positive way for UTSA. And I think wins like this does that. UTSA, I think I said this last week to the folks who were like hoping UTSA lose so they can make significant change. They do need to make significant change, but it's better for the program regardless if they go 75 versus 5-7. That's a completely different twist that's going to play in a lot of people's minds. There is something you could say in terms of, hey, we were better than we were last year, so we're showing improvement. That's possible. They got to beat Army, and if they go and win the bowl game too, that's even another feather in the cap. So, yeah, you want to see UTSA win. You want to see them. You want to see them win. The Dome works with it. Does. It does. Black unis, absolutely. Pray we get selected for the Alamo Bowl because we might get cooked anywhere else on the road. We're definitely not gonna get selected for the Alamo Bowl. Not big enough. Congrats to the UTSA runners, Darian from a Ohio Buckeye Bobcats fan. Shout out to Steve, man. I did Steve's show. Y'all should follow him on YouTube. Really cool dude. He supports UTSA, and he's a diehard Ohio Bobcats fan. So shout out to Steve. I appreciate you being on the show, my brother, and wish you all the best. What's in the cup? I got Hennessy today. Here you go. Yeah. I had a little bit left in the bottle that I had last week. So I said, why not? Like for the a little celebratory drink to join the folks here. Real possibility of ending the season with a bowl win 8-5. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not bad. It's not bad. Like I'd rather this than the alternative. Yes, I am. I do like. We should pressure Coach Traylor about the offensive coordinator. But you know, it is what it is. If he doesn't, he's going to just bring more stuff on himself. But I do kind of worry. More people were saying it last week or on the show last week. And I was like less, I was not with them as much when they were saying, hey, I want to lose because I want to make sure they get rid of the offensive coordinator. And I'm not with that in general, but my mind was saying like, okay, even if we do play well and we do like finish the season, like we do finish the season like 8-5, right? Let's posit a scenario that happens. Well, does he look at the offense coordinator and say, "Oh, I can build with this guy. Like he just another year of experience will help." I'm a little worried about that a little bit. I can't lie. Like at first, I was always like, "Well, yeah, we can finish 8-5, but he'll still have to address, you know, why weren't we competing for a conference title? You know, why didn't we do the things that he thought we'd do? Why did it take us so long to hit our stride? Why can't we do things on the road? Why is our offense terrible on the road? Why did our offense start off so poorly? You know, but like narrative and what have you done for me lately matters so much. I am starting to fear that like, is it great timing for the offensive coordinator to put up 58 points tonight? If they do something similar to Army and they do something similar to whoever we play in the bowl game, does that buy him another year? Probably. And that makes me a little uncomfortable if I'm just keeping it a buck. Coach is fooling us. I don't know. In regards, okay, real possibility at end of the season 8-5, but also 6-7. Army plays us tough. Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. I mean, you're right. You're right. That's all of these are possibilities. What did I like? I'll go back to what I said. Like, for those of you who were here on Wednesday, what did I say? UTSA shocks me every week. I don't come on this. I don't do post game recaps or I can't plan. Like I can't plan for these. I can plan for the previews because I'll go watch the last couple games of the team we're playing, and then I'll watch UTSA's game, most recent game over again. That's sort of my structure that I do to prep for my Wednesday shows. But for like some of this stuff, you can't plan for this. They do nothing conventional. Like it's so bizarre. UTSA did not play well against Charlotte last week. Charlotte, way worse than this team that we play today. Maybe one of the worst teams in college football. UTSA did not play them well. They won. They did not play them well. You look at a team like East and okay, so yes, I want to bring this up as well. You look at ECU, right? Now, some people are and I want to hear what you guys think in the comments on this. And I've had to like respond to one or two people about this on Twitter, but I just want to know what your thoughts are here because this to me is a little weird. So some people are saying that, oh, ECU was the biggest fraud. Vinny, I forget his name. He's the nice guy. Met him on numerous occasions. I think he's interviewed me a couple times when I was at UTSA. Been covering UTSA for a long time. But nothing against him at all. Like this is not a shot at him or any of that type of stuff at all. But like he had a comment to me today, basically saying ECU had a weak schedule and they were a fraud at 7-3. And I don't buy that because we ain't 7-3. We weren't 7-3 coming into this game. They beat Memphis last week. Last I checked, let me get it correct. Yeah, last I checked, Memphis was 8-2 coming into that game. Memphis ain't no frauds, bro. Memphis ain't no frauds. They beat an SEC school this year. They beat South Florida. Like, so to me, trying to diminish this victory, saying, "Oh, ECU was weak," is I don't know. I don't agree with that. But I've heard that today. What do y'all think? I think I call cap on all that. That was a legitimate team who were ranked high in the country in in a lot of the statistical categories that matter. And UTSA went out and dominated them. That's just what it comes down to. Like I said, they beat Memphis last week. So the notion that this is a game that like, oh, this team really wasn't that good. Come on, bro. I'm not trying to hear that. And like I said, I like, Vinny. Vinny, I have no problem with him at all. Like I said, good dude. Like he ain't never really done me wrong. At least not directly. But yeah, Vinny Vinzetta. Yeah. I just thought that's kind of a cheap way to look at it, but I could be wrong. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. I think that ECU is a good team and UTSA went out and dominated a good team. Love triple option runs. Birds up. Shout out to y'all, man. Out in the tailgates, out in the games, almost 20,000 people there. We definitely need more, but I get it. I get it. Can we beat Army? Yeah, we can beat anybody. I mean, Army. I mean, in the Alamodome, I don't know who we can't beat. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny. Like, Army gonna be tough. They lost today to Tulsa in a close one, 25-26. So they're gonna be fighting for a bowl berth. But they have another game. They play Navy after that, which they're probably not gonna be favored, but it's a super big rivalry game. So you never know. You never know what happens in those. But their game against us is going to be big for them in terms of going bowling. So they're going to be up for it. It's going to be a tough, hard-fought game, but of course UTSA can win. Can't sleep on Army next week. They don't like to lose in Military City, USA. Of course not. The OC still has absolutely, without a doubt. What OC is out there that would entertain UTSA? A lot of OCs would entertain UTSA because a lot of folks would love to play with Coach Traylor and some of the players that he has at his disposal. I think when you have players like I mean, they're going to build an offense around Will Henderson if he stays. If they can keep him, he'll be the guy next year. I mean, he's almost the guy this year. if we're just keeping it a buck. I mean, it took him a little bit of time to get flowing, but now that he's rolling, you know, he's speedy, he's fast. You got him. You got a good crop of receivers. Like I said, I think we need turnover in that position. You got great tight ends. The tight end position is good. The offensive line has been better this year. I think you got some good stuff to work with. On McCown, as good as he's played at home, he does have his limitations, but they're manageable. Like you can put him in situations to where he can thrive. I bet a more polished and a more experienced offense coordinator could do a lot with him. So yeah, I think UTSA would have a lot of suitors. I'm happy about these statement wins, but next year there will certainly be transfers out, and then we are back to square one. We will need to invest in whole player stay. No, I mean yes, you want your good players to stay, but there needs to be there needs to be player turnover. There needs to be. We need better players in certain positions. It comes down to that. Coach Traylor is like, y'all gotta understand, these coaches have relationships with these people. They're coaching these players. They know their families. It is always tough for those guys to lose people, but they're all going to get into that room after the season, or they're already doing it, and they know, you know what, we love this guy. We gotta let him go because he ain't good enough. We need somebody else to come in that fits the profile that we want, that'll fit our system. That's just the reality of it, you know. So he's not gonna like say, oh, like, and he's correct, right? Like, yes, there's the good players on his team. I heard him talk about like we are recruiting our own roster to make sure we retain guys. He's going to retain they're going to try to retain the good guys. That don't mean the entire roster. So, like I said, people have this tendency to look at players leaving in the transfer portal, and you sort of create this blanket, this sort of blanket stance on what that means for the team. And it's like, it actually means good in some regard. Like, yeah, you don't want your best players to leave in the transfer portal. That's a relevant concern. However, there are some players who aren't the best players who you say, you know what, we missed on this guy, and this guy. You do want them to move on so you can bring other guys in. So I wouldn't worry so much about the transfer portal outside of a couple of guys. William said, I knew it. Yeah. I mean, it's as a black man, if you know anything about black culture, guys, you know what black folks like to drink. Although I am typically not a cognac guy. I do good with a good bourbon for the most part. But yeah, tonight I had some stuff left over, and I was like, why not? I don't see if let's see. I don't know if these wins carry over to next year because college football has changed and every year is its own thing. They don't. Of course not. Think about how listen, the reason we had high hopes for UTSA coming into this season was because the way they finished last season. So we've seen how we've already seen this story. We've seen this story already. Big Dub, what a game. The more we play like this, the more I know it's not NIL. Navy, Army, and Air Force players don't get NIL. Yeah, they run funky systems, and you got to be careful with that. You just got to be careful with that. Like, NIL is not everything in every situation, but NIL is very relevant, and there are people like. So I'm going to do a lot more coverage on the NIL stuff this offseason. I've already kind of built it into some plans. I've been talking to some people to get a little bit more insight on what's reality and what isn't. But guys, trust me when I tell you, you are better off with having deeper pockets in the NIL space. You are better off when you have access to better players. It's that simple. You don't have to it does not have to become complicated, folks. It doesn't. It doesn't. Like, can you win with rosters and like can you win on the back of just coaching and all that type of stuff? Of course. But what gives you the best chance to compete for a conference title? What gives you the best chance to not have lapses throughout the year? What gives you the best chance to be able to keep your home form and then also gain some away form if you had money and investments and if you had better players ultimately? The conduit to get to better players is NIL budgets and rev share budgets. It's that simple. So, like, yes, you can do well and you can maybe even win a conference title or something like that with inadequate NIL. However, I don't think Navy, Army, and Air Force is a good barometer. They are doing well, to be fair, but their recruiting is a little different. It's a little different. It's not the same. Army recruited me out of high school. I could have went to Army. Like, they offered me the whole bit. Like, but the recruiting is just not. It's not the same. It's just not the same. You are signing up for something else. When you go to those type of academy deals, like, it's not the same. So yes, just so you could y'all understand my position here. Having more budget to pay players is better than not. So it doesn't matter about, oh, you can do XYZ without NIL. Guys, the point is, if you have the resources, you can have a better chance at putting up banners. It's not that complicated. And not this and this is not me coming at you any kind of way or anything like that. I just hear the NIL bit. Oh, it's not NIL thing so much, and I'm just like, you can say that, but if they had the budget, they'd be better. So to that, you say what? I'll put the question back on you guys. If they had the budget and they had more money, to that you say what? Do you think they'll have a better team? Do you think they'll have better players? Do you think they get better results? UTSA has drastically expanded its downtown campus and overall downtown presence. Makes sense to keep playing at the Dome because of that, in my opinion. Yeah, but the Dome is great. Let's see. Why so serious? First off, I love the Joker, by the way. So shout out to this person. If everyone comes back, 11 starting experienced players coming back on 8 on D. 2026 is a boom or bust year. Yeah, it was supposed to be like that this year because a lot of those offensive players came back this year. Defense was obviously different, but I don't think the defense was in general the biggest issue this season. But either here or there, they have had issues though, for sure. But you hope so. You're not going to get all of them back. Somebody's going to walk for sure. But like, I mean, we're going to lose guys like Robert Henry and things like that. So he's not coming back. Good thing we have Will Henderson. So yeah, what happened to Robert Henry? He got hurt. He was hurt. He's banged up. I don't think, at least from what I've been told, it's not like significant, but he couldn't suit up today. Army lost to Tulsa today and needs to win for a bowl. Only other game for them is at Navy. Army coming full tilt. Absolutely. It's what I was talking about earlier. Yeah, that's not going to be an easy game. Not at all. Not going to be an easy one. Marcus says, not very ball knowledgeable, but what kind of OC would we need? A run heavy playbook, veer and shoot. What do you think? I mean, Traylor Traylor's he would hire a coach that runs a offense that fits his philosophy. And he likes a spread offense. He's kind of a multiple spread offense when you think about it, because he likes to get on the center some. So you will need here's my personal thought. I think you need an offense that's dynamic in terms of, or just like that's going to play well with personnel. It's going to be able to use tight ends, going to be able to go big, going to be able to spread it out. Going to be able to still be heavy in RPO. That's a trailer staple in general. So that's something that he likes. A lot of this stuff is because you feel like you can recruit these types of players that can come in and position yourself to be good in those areas. So yeah, I don't think from a you'd see a different application of the plays, but from the standpoint of like what personnel are we coming out in, like yeah, there may be some like tendency shifts in that, but you'll see a multiple spread offense with that coordinator's way of calling the plays. Um, yeah, I think I I'm not necessarily worried about like what plays a coordinator puts together. How are you what's your timing like in terms of calling those plays and getting us out of jail sometimes? You know? That's what matters. Like when it's a 3rd and 5 that we need, it's at the end of the game. Can my coordinator dial something up that we know for a fact that, if we execute properly? I mean, and they'll say if anything, if you execute any play perfectly, it'll work. But like, you know what I mean? There are some coordinators that say, you know what, 3rd and 5, I got something in my back pocket that the opposing team has not seen. I'm going to save this for the moment we need it. How many of those do you have? How many of those do you have? That to me is what I like. How how do you get your guys in the rhythm? How do you settle your quarterback down? Are you trying to be too cute? Burke had one play that made me throw my phone, and I legitimately throwed it. It was what was it, a 3rd and 2, and we were close to the middle of the field, and they did I don't know, they did like a sprint. They did like a sprint counter or something like that, and it was supposed to go to the other side, and Garce was pulling, and they got Will Henderson got ate up for like a loss or whatever, but it was one of the times that they stopped us. And I was like, on 3rd and 2, why are we doing all of that? Like we've been able to punch them in the mouth the entire time. Why do we do all this cutesy stuff before we hand the ball off? Like those are the types of things that you'd want to see an OC come in that has a bit more polish around those things. I think our current guy is still a little wet behind the ears with some of this. And listen, like to be fair to him, he'll probably get wind of this, or somebody close to him will get wind of this, and they'll say, "What is this guy talking about? He doesn't know anything," and that's fair, and that's a fair thing too. But I don't, for my what's the name, don't enjoy his play calling. Rice looking good so far. Are they who they playing? Well, let's check out Rice. Who they playing today? It's just not going to last long. They're playing North Texas. Yeah, that's not going to last long. But I wouldn't be surprised. This conference is crazy. But nah, that's not gonna last. Wassel, it's almost favorable for us to play in a bad bowl because bad bowl game because all the P4s will want to watch our game and poach the underclassmen transfer. Ooh, that's a really good point. It's that stuff's gonna happen anyway, though. There's nothing we can do about it if I'm being real. Now that we're bowl eligible, what possible matchups intrigues you? Any dream matchup? Would P4 or hot G5 matchup be better? I mean, if you ask me this, I don't want to play a G5. I want to play a P4. Any opportunity we get to play a P4, that's what I want. Yeah, that's what I want. So I don't have a particular matchup that I just care about that much. I want a P4 team, and I think we need opportunities to beat them. And it's a bowl game. It's almost a meaningless game anyway. Like us beat a G5 game. Like nobody's gonna go, and if we go beat a G5 team in a bowl game, you're not gonna really go sell that on a recruiting trail, are you? What if we beat Arkansas or somebody or some SEC school that barely had bowl eligibility, and we go into a bowl game and beat them? That's something to sell, you know. So yeah, that's my preference. Wassel, he says we'll be matched up with a G5 regardless regardless of 6-6 or 7-5 finish? Probably, but he asked for my dream, so that's why I'm at. Hope Garth is okay. Health is key down the stretch. You're absolutely correct there. Chapman played today. Will be interesting to see if he plays Army. If he does, the red shirt is done. I thought they said he was good to go for the rest of the year. Actually, but maybe not. I could be wrong. The sweep counter draw, it worked later in the game for a Peterson touchdown. Yeah, but on that 3rd and 2, I didn't like it. I did not like it at all. Um, just why? Yeah, no, yeah. I didn't care for it. I'm not saying it's a bad play concept in general. I just didn't like it at that particular point in time. Maybe this question is too far ahead to answer, but next year is McCown's last year. Is his successor on this current roster? Uh, that's a great question. It's a tricky one for me to answer, but that's a great question. I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say Tennyson gets a rollout, but here's what I will say: UTSA is not paying McCown much, or okay, I don't know. So let me just be factually correct. I don't know what they're paying him. What I have heard is they are getting a major discount because of the relationship Coach Traylor has with the McCowns. It is partially the reason why he's so pro McCown. Yes, McCown does a good job here and there, but like Traylor is like pro player. And it's because right now they don't have to pay a quarterback's salary, basically. I'm not saying he's not getting any money, but there's a I'll say this. What's tricky about this is there are people in that quarterback room who should be on money who's not on money. I'll say that. And I don't know how long that's going to suffice. And I think that could have a impact on who his successor will be. But what I will say too is UTSA can't afford to to go get a quarterback. They just can't afford to go get current state. No, current state. No. At least in the summer, I know exactly how much UTSA's most valuable players, how much money they were on over the course of the year, and it was not a lot. Was not a lot. Like UTSA does not have a 6-figure player on the roster, unless something has changed since I talked to people at that time. They don't have a 6-figure player. Well, I mean, I don't know, very close to it, but they don't have nobody's making $500,000 at UTSA. I don't think anybody's making $250,000 either. So when you think about his successor, if you talk about are they going to go in a portal and get somebody, we're going to have to go get a donor who's willing to pay for that and pay for that directly. I think they are trying to buy time with that. That's why McCown is going to be the guy, has been the guy for the last couple years, and will be the guy next year. And why I say I think Tennyson will be the successor, because they're not going to pay Tennyson a lot of money either. He'll have a year or two left. By the time he's able to be the successor. Yeah, that's UTSA is trying to find a discount anywhere they can get it. It's just a reality. Today's trap was Chapman's fourth game. Well, he's screwed. Yeah, OC got to go. Absolutely. We need to start adding competition to the QB position. Yeah, I think we should, but like, how can you? What are you gonna bring in? You gotta like. It's just tough. That situation is tough, man. You gotta. You are likely going to be able to bring guys in who have failed in other places, or other places just didn't work out for them, and that things typically don't work out for a reason. Then there's some gems all the time, but things don't work out for a reason. Maybe those people weren't as talented. Um, those are common, common scenarios, and you got to see. Poachable player we must keep Overmeyer. Tight end room is deep though. Overmeyer, dude, those people are. Does he have what year is he? Let me see. What year is he? Redshirt sophomore. Yeah, he ain't going nowhere, buddy. Yeah, he ain't going nowhere. Well, Overmeyer be like Oscar or something. Like he ain't going nowhere. His family they're great. Like I was so happy. Every time he does something, I think about meeting his mom and dad. We were stuffing our face with hot dogs. At our man Danny and Yvette's tailgate. And it was my first time meeting him. It was great meeting them. Such nice people. They love UTSA, man. You can just hear it in their energy. And he ain't going nowhere. He's poachable, but nah, he stay. I'm mad Tennessee never gets an opportunity to throw the ball. They put him in just to hand it off. Yeah. I have text messages about that in DMs. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of Tennessee fans that have showed up. Yeah, I mean it sucks. I think Coach Traylor is sending a message with all that. They don't do stuff for no reason. He won't say Tennessee's name in a press conference. I think I'll just be honest, I think it's disrespectful. How do you recruit the quarterback position when you treat your backup this way? I think he treats Tennyson, at least publicly, poorly. But you know what? Tennyson's a Gilmer guy. He has a great family. I know that for a fact. And I think that when he gets his opportunity, he'll make good on that. But yeah, I definitely think Traylor, the offensive coordinator and whatever, they do him wrong. He gets done wrong 100%. I don't care what they say. They can come out and, oh, we love him. No, like, I'm not saying you don't love him. That's not what I'm saying. You don't do him right in the games. He should have came in late in the third quarter. And then you jog him out there and you don't let him throw the ball. Like, come on, bro. Like, yeah, they do him bad. I want to be very, very clear about that. I do not like the way that they manage Tennyson or the quarterback situation at all behind Norm McCown. It's like I said, how do you recruit? Like, what recruiting conversation are you going to have in terms of bringing a quarterback in where you treat your backup that way? Like, if I have a good quarterback who's my son or my brother or something like that, and I'm involved in sports, I am not sending my quarterback to UTSA. Not while McCown's there. Like, why would you? Traylor ran up the score today trying to be a dark horse for some of the other job openings. He might. We were talking I was talking to some folks about this earlier today. And there's a lot of people who think that he's gonna leave after this season. Like, there's a theory out there that if he can manage to win these last 3 or so games, it's just enough to keep him relevant for big job positions. And because of the lack of resources, he'll just be like, you know what? I think they were talking like Baylor was brought up and some of these other schools, SMU and all of that. Like, he might. There's a lot of people who thinks that. No one making $200K on UTSA is a problem. Backups at P4s are making that and then some. So if you're a UTSA player, you're likely not going to get drafted anyway. So if you're them, might as well make money. Yeah, I mean, making the money sucks because you may not get to play. But yeah, to my understanding, nobody's making anywhere near that anywhere near 200K. That was as of April of this year. That could change because I'm sure, like, well, what when a lot of the times people like to come out and like, so I do a podcast. People want to come out and say, "Oh, he's lying. He doesn't have the facts." Maybe I don't, but based on what I know, and the people I talk to around the program and people I trust, yeah, they don't have anybody making that kind of money. There's some guys who are very close to 100, or maybe by this time they're over 100, but like 200, 250, 500, that's not happening. Nah, not even close. Not even close. I It was funny that, like, I talked to Playfly this week, and some of the deals that we were discussing, just potential things, aren't big things. And that to me kind of shows you that, like, they are trying to at least build some sort of, they're trying to like exercise every avenue possible to get these players paid, which is good by them, by the way. Like, this is not a shot at Playfly at all. Like, I think it's a really good opportunity, and I am I am going to participate in the opportunity that um they approached me about. So I just want to be clear on that. Like, I think they're doing a good job, not holistically, because I don't have insights into that, but like what was proposed to me, I think um is positive, and it's a way to get players paid. And they will get players paid for this 100%. But what I mean by that is, like, these aren't huge deals that are going to come up, and these are not huge deals that's going to fill their pockets with a ton of money, but it is something, and it is something that could be valuable to some players. But like, it's nowhere near anything like some of these big schools are getting, where you got backups making $250,000. It's not the case. It's not the case. So yeah, that's wild to think of, but I could totally see Trailer and the McCowns ditching UTSA for a better school for his last year. But I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, it could happen. It could happen. If Trailer leaves, McCown, I'm pretty sure he's going to leave as well. But I don't think it's going to happen, honestly. I know a lot of people think that, but I don't think so. Baylor already confirmed they're keeping Aranda, so one less place for him to end up. There you go. Great. If we get to 8-5, Trailer definitely getting a call from Arkansas. Yeah, apparently, I talked to a lot of people at Arkansas. They don't want anything to do with Trailer. From what I've been told, I've talked to a lot of folks. When the Arkansas, job came open, I was DM'd by a lot of folks who were important figures around that program, and they made it very, very clear that he wouldn't even be on the short list because of the staff he was on and how miserable that staff had fan sentiment. At least a call, maybe, but from what I heard, that's a no. Traylor was an OC at Arkansas, right? I don't know if he was an OC at Arkansas, but those people do not want anything to do with him, bro. Like, if y'all could if I could share the messages that some of these people were saying, what they were saying. I mean, I can't, but he's not going to Arkansas. I mean, you never know, but no. I would doubt it. I doubt it. Arkansas wants to win now. They already took the risk with a previous coach, and it was awful. Arkansas is desperate to win now. Yeah, I mean, that's probably a fact as well, but they don't want anything to do with that previous coaching staff that Traylor was a part of. And yeah, people did not have very good things to say about him. If I'm just being honest, that could be all smoke and mirrors, so on and so forth. Just telling you guys what I've been told. Anyway, yes, I am wrapped up. I'm super happy UTSA won, by the way. Eh, I want to win every single game. I don't care what the circumstances are. I really do feel like the team still does need to make some wholesale changes from an OC standpoint, and I think some players need to go. But I think you got to give Traylor a boatload of credit here that he can pull this type of thing out of his team, and they can do this type of thing. We've been tough on Traylor this year. I feel like I've been tough on Traylor this year and been frustrated with his comments and his sentiment and things like that. But like the game and what his job is to get victories no matter what, and he's been able to do that, and he's been able to do really really positive things for the program even in a bad year. We're going to a bowl game again. We have an opportunity to end the season 8-5, which if you tell somebody that before the season, yeah, they'd be frustrated, but they'll say we take it. But it's harder to go through it. And I think Traylor deserves a boatload of credit for what he's been able to kind of pull off. Those win against Tulane, a win against East Carolina. I mean, those are incredible, y'all. You just got to give your hats off to Traylor, the players, the team, McCown. Like I said, I think he had a good game. The defense played well. You got to give a hats off to both of the coordinators today. They did an excellent job. As I always say, whenever these guys do well and do good, you got to give them a proper pat on the back, and you got to back them and support them. And they did that today. So birds up. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel for those of you guys who are still here. And I will see you guys on Wednesday. Peace.